Imagine for a moment that you're standing on the edge of a cliff. The wind is howling and the waves below crash against jagged rocks. Your heart races, not because of the height, but because you're carrying a heavy burden. A backpack filled with every worry, every fear, every regret you've ever had. The weight is crushing. You want to feel free, to feel at peace, but the bag keeps pulling you down. What if I told you that the secret to peace isn't finding a way to carry that load forever? What if the answer is letting it go? Dropping. The things you can't control, even if it feels impossible. That's what we're diving into today on the Daily Stoic Mindset. The price of peace, and why letting go is the hardest but most liberating thing you'll ever do. Stay with me, because this journey is about finding the calm in the storm, and I promise it's worth it. Let's start with a story. A few years ago, I was scrolling through my phone, as we all do, and I came across a post from someone I hadn't spoken to in years. They were sharing their struggles, job loss, a broken relationship, health issues piling up. It hit me hard, not just because I felt for them, but because I recognized that same weight in myself. I was stressed about work deadlines, anxious about what people thought of me, and replaying mistakes I'd made years ago. I was carrying my own backpack and it was exhausting. Maybe you're carrying one too. Maybe it's the fear of failing at your new business venture, the pain of a family member who won't change, or the constant pressure to keep up with a world that feels like it's moving too fast. We all have something. And here's the truth. That weight isn't just heavy, it's stealing your peace. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who've guided us through centuries of chaos, understood this better than anyone. They didn't promise a life without storms, but they taught us how to find calm in the middle of them. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced wars, betrayal, and a plague-ravaged empire, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. He wasn't saying you can control the world. He was saying you can control how you respond to it. That's where peace begins. But it comes at a price. The price is letting go of the illusion that you can control everything. Your reputation, other people's actions, even the future. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially in a culture that tells us to hustle, to fight, to never give up. But the Stoics weren't about giving up. They were about choosing your battles wisely. Let's make this real. Picture yourself stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. You're late, your palms are sweaty, and you're cursing the car in front of you. You're angry, stressed, and you feel like the world is against you. Now, ask yourself, can you control the traffic? Can you make the cars move faster? No, but you can control how you react. You can take a deep breath, put on your favorite song, and decide not to let this moment ruin your day. That's Stoicism in action. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about focusing on what's in your power and letting the rest go. This is the emotional hook of Stoicism. It's not about escaping pain, but about finding freedom in the middle of it. Why is this so hard? Because letting go feels like losing. We're wired to hold on to our plans, our grudges, our dreams of how things should be. In America especially, we're taught that success comes from control. You grind, you plan, you make things happen, and there's truth to that. But the Stoics remind us that there's a difference between effort and obsession. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic teachers, said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." He wasn't saying to stop caring, he was saying to stop clinging to outcomes you can't guarantee. That's the price of peace. It's not apathy, it's clarity. So how do we actually do this? How do we let go of what we can't control without feeling like we're giving up? That's what we're going to unpack in the next part, with practical Stoic lessons, timeless wisdom, and real-world applications. Because peace isn't something you find, it's something you build, one choice at a time. Let's dive into the heart of Stoicism and explore how to pay the price of peace by letting go of what we can't control. The Stoics gave us a roadmap, and it's not about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop or reciting fancy philosophy. It's about practical, everyday choices that anyone can make. Whether you're a busy parent, a stressed-out professional, or just someone trying to find a little calm in a chaotic world. We're going to break this down into 3 Stoic principles, each backed by quotes from the greats, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and paired with actionable steps we can apply today. By the end, you'll have a toolkit for building resilience and inner peace, no matter what life throws at you. First, let's talk about the dichotomy of control. This is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, and Epictetus laid it out crystal clear. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, reputation, office, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. Sounds simple, right? But it's profound. Think about your day. How much energy do you spend worrying about things you can't control? The weather, your boss's mood, what someone said about you online. The Stoics say, stop. Focus only on what's in your circle of control, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. Everything else, let it go. Here's how to apply this. Take out a piece of paper and draw 2 columns. In the first, write down everything stressing you out. Right. Now, maybe it's a looming deadline, a fight with a friend, or anxiety about money. In the second column, write down what you can actually control in each situation. For example, you can't control whether your boss gives you a promotion, but you can control how hard you work and how you present yourself. You can't control if someone apologizes, but you can control whether you hold on to the resentment. This exercise isn't just a thought experiment, it's a way to rewire your brain. When I first did this, I realized I was spending 80% of my energy on things I couldn't change. It was a wake-up call. Try it this week, and you'll start to feel the weight lifting. Let's bring in Seneca for the second principle, amor fati, or loving your fate. Seneca wrote, "A man is as miserable as he thinks he is." This doesn't mean you have to love every bad thing that happens. Stoics weren't delusional. It means accepting reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Amor fati is about saying, this is my life, with all its messiness, and I'm going to embrace it. Imagine you lose your job. It's awful, no question. But instead of spiraling into why me, you ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? That shift doesn't erase the pain, but it gives you power over it. Here's a practical way to practice amor fati. Every night, write down one thing that went wrong during your day. It could be a small annoyance like spilling coffee, or something bigger like a health scare. Then, write 1 sentence about how you can accept it or learn from it. For example, I spilled coffee on my shirt, but it reminded me to slow down and be present. Or, I got bad news about my health, but I'm grateful for the chance to prioritize my well-being. This practice trains you to see challenges as opportunities, not curses. Over time, it becomes second nature. I started doing this a year ago, and it's changed how I handle setbacks. Instead of fighting reality, I work with it. The third principle is premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils. This one sounds grim, but it's incredibly liberating. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own." The idea is to mentally prepare for what could go wrong, not to dwell on it, but to be ready. By imagining worst-case scenarios, you strip them of their power to surprise or overwhelm you. Here's how to make this practical. Before a big event, like a job interview, a tough conversation, or even a family gathering, take 5 minutes to visualize what could go wrong. Maybe your interviewer is rude, or your partner doesn't listen. Then plan how you'll respond with calm and dignity. For example, if the interviewer is dismissive, you might decide to stay polite and focus on your preparation. If your partner shuts down, you might choose to listen patiently instead of arguing. I used this before a public speaking event last year. I was terrified of forgetting my lines, so I visualized it happening and planned to laugh it off and keep going. When I actually stumbled, I was ready, and it didn't derail me. This practice builds resilience because it reminds you, you can handle anything. Now let's tie these principles to daily life, especially for those of you between 25 and 55, navigating careers, relationships, and the pressures of modern America. Let's say you're a 35-year-old middle manager, juggling a demanding job, a mortgage, and 2 kids. You're worried about getting passed over for a promotion, your teenager's acting out, and you're still haunted by a bad financial decision from 5 years ago. Sound familiar? Here's how Stoicism helps. Use the dichotomy of control to focus on your work ethic and how you communicate with your boss, not the promotion itself. Practice amor fati by accepting that your teenager is struggling and seeing it as a chance to connect, not a failure. And use premeditatio malorum to prepare for tough days. Maybe your kid slams the door, or your boss gives vague feedback. Decide in advance to stay calm and keep perspective. Or maybe you're 50, recently divorced, and starting over. You're anxious about dating again, angry at your ex, and scared about your financial future. The dichotomy of control reminds you, you can't change your ex's actions, but you can choose to forgive and move forward. Amor fati helps you embrace this new chapter, even with its uncertainties, as a chance to rediscover yourself. And premeditatio malorum prepares you for awkward first dates or unexpected bills. You visualize them, plan your response, and realize they don't define you. These principles work because they're universal. Whether you're in New York or Nebraska, young or old, Stoicism meets you where you are. Let's ground this in another quote from Seneca. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. How many times have you lost sleep over something that never happened? I know I have. The Stoics teach us to shrink our fears by facing them head on, not by pretending they don't exist. That's the work of letting go, releasing the grip of what we can't control and holding tight to what we can. One more practical tip before we move to the conclusion. Create a daily Stoic ritual. Every morning, spend 5 minutes reflecting on these 3 principles. Ask yourself, what's in my control today? How can I love whatever happens? What challenges might I face and how will I respond? Write your answers in a journal or just think them through while you sip your coffee. This ritual doesn't take long, but it sets the tone for your day. I've been doing it for years, and it's like putting on armor. It doesn't make the world less chaotic, but it makes me ready for it. As we wrap up, let's reflect on what we've learned and how to carry it forward. The price of peace is steep, but it's worth paying. Letting go of what you can't control isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the path to a life where storms don't break you, but shape you. We've walked through some heavy ideas today, but I hope you're feeling lighter. The Stoics didn't just give us philosophy. They gave us a way to live with courage, clarity, and peace. The price of that peace is letting go of what you can't control, and it's a price worth paying. Think about that backpack we talked about at the start. It's still there, filled with worries, regrets, and fears. But now you know you don't have to carry it forever. You can set it down, not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing freedom. Let's revisit Marcus Aurelius one last time. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That's the heart of Stoicism. The world will always be unpredictable. Traffic jams, difficult people, unexpected setbacks. But you have the power to decide what they mean to you. You can't control the waves, but you can learn to surf them. That's what letting go is all about. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about meeting it with grace. So, what's one thing you're holding on to that you can let go of today? Maybe it's resentment toward a coworker who wronged you. Maybe it's anxiety about a future you can't predict. Or maybe it's the need to be perfect. Whatever it is, try this. Write it down, acknowledge it, and then tell yourself, this is not in my control. I choose to let it go. It won't happen overnight, but every step you take is a step toward peace. I've done this myself, and it's not easy. Letting go of my need to please everyone was like prying my fingers off a ledge. But when I finally did, I felt free in a way I hadn't in years. This is the Stoic mindset, not a one-time fix, but a daily practice. It's waking up every day and choosing to focus on what's yours, your thoughts, your actions, your heart. It's loving your life, even when it's messy. It's preparing for the worst and still hoping for the best. And it's knowing that peace isn't something you chase, it's something you build, moment by moment. I want to leave you with a challenge. This week, pick one of the practices we talked about. The dichotomy of control exercise, the amor fati journaling, the premeditatio malorum visualization, or the daily Stoic ritual. Try it for 7 days. See how it feels to let go, even a little. And then come back here and share your story in the comments. Tell us what you let go of, what you learned, or how it changed you. Because this channel, The Daily Stoic Mindset, isn't just about me talking. It's about us growing together, building resilience, wisdom, and inner peace, one day at a time. If this video resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into Stoicism. We're here every week, unpacking the tools you need to live a good life no matter what comes your way. And if you know someone who's carrying a heavy backpack, share this video with them. Let's help each other find the peace we're all searching for. Thank you for being here, for choosing to reflect, and for doing the work. Keep practicing, keep letting go, and keep showing up. This is the Daily Stoic Mindset, and I'll see you in the next one.